Is there?
Do we?
Oh no, I think it's done now. Oh, good.
Wonderful.
Did you walk your dog already, Philip?
Come again, Michael?
Did you take out Leah for a ride already?
Yeah, I did once this morning. You should maybe be able to see her behind me.
Well, she's elsewhere.
Okay, I'm gonna stop sharing that screen.
Oh, now we see you in full.
Exactly. I'm sorry.
Don't be.
Right. Well, I'm guessing there's some other people listening right now already.
Even if we don't know who.
Exactly. But yeah, here we have a couple of people running. We all unfortunately were unable to keep the YouTube window open because we got so confused by hearing ourselves. So we'll have somebody pinging us questions in case they come up on the YouTube channel. But yeah.
And bear in mind, there's a 20-second delay between us actually talking and it being streamed on YouTube. So it's not that we don't want to answer.
Yeah. I mean, let's be honest, in our free time, we obviously all are professional YouTube streamers. And you can find me under my handle. No, just kidding. By the way, we're talking a bit because we thought we wait another 3-4 minutes to see if some other people are joining. Like I said, we have somebody poking us here in the background, giving us the thumbs up. Hopefully as soon as we can go. But yeah, we can already give a little bit of background, I guess, before we actually go into some sort of demo on what this is.
Let's maybe start with a disclaimer, as people might or might not realize over the next 20-30 minutes, we've never done that. So apologies in advance for, yeah, I mean, we'll see. Let's just do it.
So the webinar itself is the first time, and what we're aiming to show is all in a beta mode. Is that right?
Yes. So maybe just for context, who we are. So I hope you found us, in case you just randomly found us on YouTube. In case you don't know who we are, but you know about Pace. So maybe just a quick background. I'm Lucas. I'm the product lead at Pace, and I have two lovely gentlemen with me here today. Michael, who's heading our success and support team, and Philippe, who's heading our sales team. And yeah, what we thought we'd do today is we've been working on something really interesting. Pace Analytics, we called it creatively, and we thought we'd take the time at the moment, which is a bit of a strange time, to actually run some of these sessions online to show you guys what we've been working on, what we're still working on, better said, and also, yeah, show you what's possible and what's not possible.
I think adding to that, maybe Philip and I, we have somewhat of some selfish reasons for doing this as well.
You like to be on camera.
Yeah. Yeah, but besides that, which is really just a bonus, obviously the one who's been putting down the most work to this is you, Lucas. So from our end, also great to build a little bit of more understanding of what it is. We're not complete beginners, I'll be honest with that. But obviously all of the capabilities that we have around this is something that you would be the one who knows the best, of course. And considering all of and I'll speak on sort of our customer side, on in terms of excitement around this new feature, I think there's been a lot, and there's been a huge hype around it. So I know for a fact that some of the people that are tuning in today, they are already probably bringing out their notebooks, preparing some feedback. But for now, it's going to be very interesting for all of us, I think, to see, to give it a little bit of a test spin.
So we'll do it as usual. Michael, you'll play the hotelier. Luca, you actually know what you're talking about, and I'll just try and make some funny jokes.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
And if it's not too bad, we'll try again next week to show more.
Exactly.
Should we get into it?
Let's get into it. Let me share my screen so we can actually look at Pace and action. All right, can you guys see that?
Yes,
sir.
Very familiar view, this one.
Very familiar. I'm glad to hear. I'm glad this is not completely strange to you. Yeah, so as it kind of already came out earlier, we've launched Pace Analytics at the start of this month, start of April. We're actually currently running a beta program. So for anybody who's already using Pace, you can get in touch with us. We're releasing seeds on a weekly basis to our customers who are interested in trying out analytics, and you'll see in a moment why you probably want to be on that list. And yeah, so for anybody who doesn't know Pace or kind of tunes in, just a little bit of context. So this is kind of our app. The starting page where you always end up on is the property page. In this case, we're looking at one of our demo properties, which is actually a bit sad. Reminds us of what's been going on. We created these lovely demo properties for ITB this year, and then we weren't able to show them off. So we'll show them off today.
They are the properties that came through April, I think, very strongly though. So if there's any positive in this whole story, I guess that would be it. That
is true. Our simulation engine didn't simulate a pandemic, which is good for them in their little world. But anyways, so we see here, we have our property page, and then up here we have a new little ribbon in our navigation bar, which is the analytics. And I'm just going to hop over here, and you'll see here and there things might not look entirely polished, hence the beta. It's like for any product person out there, the secret to escape anybody confronting you with mistakes, you just say it's a beta. But yeah, you can see things already. Let's maybe start on the left here, just a quick walkthrough before we actually start building some things. We've kind of split up things into dashboards and explorers. And the whole purpose of this is that everything in dashboards are essentially what probably is more commonly referred to as reports. We just like to call them dashboards because we think they're a lot more powerful than just one report. And these are essentially things that we believe are interesting to look at. So we pre-build some of these dashboards for our customers to look at. But the real interesting part, and this is what we're going to get into later a bit more, is actually the explorers. Because everything that you can see in the dashboards that we'll be clicking through in a moment is actually built by using these explorers. That means it's not actually something that only we can do. It's something that you as the user can do as well. So you could have built this whole dashboard yourself and nobody else could have access to this, only you. So you can build your secret data weapon. But yeah, I'd say, should we just have a look at a few dashboards first?
Yeah, sounds good.
Yeah, let's start with this one, right?
Perfect.
By the looks of it, just at the first glance, it looks very similar to what we have on the property page, which I think most users are very familiar with. But there's obviously, as from what I can tell, I love the fact that you show sort of volume, ADR, revenue, all in the same view, which obviously helps in terms of speed of just knowing where to focus. But the one thing that I think really sparks my curiosity here are these filters that you got up there.
It's almost as if we planned this question. I wanted to talk about this right now.
Well, go for it.
Yeah, so the reason why I said we look at these
things more. It almost sounds like you did that on purpose, Michael.
Well, I'll be honest with you guys. It's one of the things that we've kept on hearing about when you speak to customers. I think everyone everyone sort of agrees with the fact that it's been very well presented in terms of reading, but we all want to sort of drill down to why is that uplift, where is it coming from, and so on and so forth. And that's why when I see that filter, I just it's not only me. We all want to know what it's about.
We all want to know. Yeah, I mean, for any dashboard, you can create a set of filters. These are the filters that we create for this dashboard. We'll show you later in the new dashboard that we built how this stuff is used. But yeah, it just shows you kind of the granularity of how deep you can go. So obviously at the moment, we're looking at the whole group of properties here. So we could drill into the individual properties themselves. We could even drill into specific room types or inventory types of this property. We could drill into the segment, rate plan, channel, you name it. All of these things are possible. So if I were to do that and rerun this whole dashboard, everything would be filtered down to only those specific selections. And there's one thing up here, which I personally find quite exciting because it was an interesting piece to build, is actually the currency here. So we've integrated a currency exchange solution into our analytics product because a big problem that our customers describe to us who are actually having properties across different countries with different currencies, that they have issues running any group reporting because, well, obvious reasons. It's tough to aggregate the revenue figures. And the kind of quick fixes or the solutions that they have so far is they fix an exchange rate for a whole year, or I think the best that we've come across is fix the exchange rate for a month. I don't know if you had a higher frequency, Michael. Did you ever came across?
No, I think that's about right.
So what we actually have done is we've integrated an exchange solution, a currency exchange solution, which tracks all exchange rates on a daily basis since I think mid-2017. And we've integrated this, and we can now actually choose between 166 currencies. Not that you need all of these currencies, but as we're having customers around the world, it was definitely something where we thought we'll anticipate a few more currencies than too little.
Do you know what is the smallest currency we got there actually, Lucas? Do you know that?
Don't ask us live, man.
Yeah, sorry. But there's a lot of abbreviations there, and I try to follow, but there's a few that I'm not.
We could actually put names against them instead, but maybe you could do that. Actually, I'll just give you this list, and if you could just give the names against that. By the way, did Michael freeze?
Oh no. That's a shame.
That is a shame. Well, let's continue. I'm sure he'll find his way back in.
His Wi-Fi was already not great when we tested earlier, so I was a bit afraid that would happen.
All right. Well, let's go further into it. I'm just gonna change this here to GDP, and I'm actually gonna run this dashboard here in the background while we wait for Michael. He also looks so disappointed in his picture. It's like, I'm just about to say something. Well, anyways, as this is updating in the background, let's actually move to some other reports that we've been looking at. So this obviously won't look much different. It will just all be in Great British pounds. Yeah, Michael just said his Wi-Fi died, so I'm sure he'll be back at some point.
I'm ready to readmit it.
Are you ready to step up? Thank God.
I'm ready. Of course, I'm ready to step up. See, you said you didn't want me in that call, but now you're happy, huh?
Jeez, where would I be without you? All right, let's have another look at one report. Sorry, dashboard. See, now I'm already catching myself, the language. This was another dashboard that we built. It was mainly driven actually by feedback of one of our customers who said it's great knowing that I had pickup over the last 7 days, but where am I actually picking up? So we created this chart here, which shows us the pickup in the last 7 days. We could change this to any other time period if we wanted to.
Hello there.
Hey, Michael's
welcome back.
Thank you.
The Swede has found his way back home. We're just looking at the next dashboard here, Michael.
Yeah.
And I was just saying that this actually came up in some conversations with a beta tester, that we wanted to understand where is the pickup actually happening. It's nice to know if you have pickup for a few days, but for which nights are actually being affected. And again, if we could just continue breaking this down, and this is not actually just applying filters, but just basically splitting the data, we can actually break things down in more granular formats. We can show different channels that people are booking through, and when they're booking, what time of the day people are typically booking, which rate plan they're booking. Again, here obviously we're using our demo property, so things seem very evenly distributed. But yeah, just a level of detail which I personally find super exciting.
Indeed, and I think that personally I really like that final chart, the one on the bottom. It's just one of those I've never seen before, and some of the properties that I was managing in the past had a very large amount of bookings coming in from the US. So the business mix was nearly 30-40%. And we kind of knew that, well, obviously they're going to be booking throughout a different period of time. And at the same time, you tend to look at certain areas within revenue management at certain times of the day. And I think getting something like that just proves how important it is that you don't only price or do your pricing in the morning and then you go home. If you have a lot of Americans or Asian or whatever it might be, that you have the right price throughout the day, also in the night when you're not there. So like this part, I think is just a big eye opener for a lot of people, realizing that, okay, there's a lot of things happening in my property while I'm actually asleep.
Yeah, absolutely. No, it's really interesting. And for me, obviously, we have this interesting dynamic at Pace where we also have quite a few people which don't really come from the hospitality industry, like myself. So it's just interesting to see the world of hospitality in data, because it just, for me as kind of generally a more data-driven person, just interesting to look at it this way. But let's actually drill into this one a bit more, and I want to use this one actually as a baseline to maybe build a new dashboard and show a little bit what's possible here. So this is actually a new chart, or some new stuff I just added yesterday. Overall this project is only, I don't know, what is it, 1.5, 2 months old now, if at all. So if you see any blips, excuse us. That's why we're in beta.
That's convenient, huh?
Yeah, this dashboard is one I built yesterday, and the idea here was to show how, especially in current times, how we're actually picking up on a weekly basis, and can we see any trends in terms of, obviously COVID-19 struck, we had a massive drop. We saw that in the data as well of our customers, but now things are kind of starting to level up again. Not that they're going up to where they were, but they're trying to find their new normal. So it's a really interesting analysis to do with your own property, actually, to understand how this data is coming together. Here, obviously, as we're having our fun ITB, back at ITB, things were still looking so good that the data here just looks so great that we didn't actually have any cancellations. But you could imagine here that we essentially would also have bars which go down, which are red. And on a weekly basis, you could see, okay, this is how many bookings I created this week. This is how many bookings I canceled this week. Means this is my net pickup that I experienced this week if we kind of just subtract the cancellations from the new created bookings.
I always thought we didn't have any cancellation because the property was priced by Pace and hence was so perfectly priced that you didn't have any cancellations.
Only the low-rated reservations, they were canceled, and then we picked them up at a higher rate. That's
they rebooked at a higher rate, absolutely.
Yeah. But that's cool, Luca. So basically, this one on the left, just so that I'm following here, the one on the left is basically showing me over the past. So it's sort of a weekly pickup then, where over the last 12 weeks, I can sort of spot the trend for everything that I'm picking up for the future, right?
Exactly, yeah. So what we often saw with our customers' dashboards is actually like leading up till December. Like if we were to look at all of the weeks of last year, we could actually just see a very consistent kind of trail of bookings coming in, bookings getting canceled. Like everybody kind of has this gut feeling about, oh, this number is right or this is wrong. This data, this visualization just made it abundantly clear how this level fluctuates. And then, yeah, as kind of February started, we started to see things go down because cancellations suddenly got a lot more. Mid-March was probably the peak. Maybe we can actually show some anonymized data here to you guys online, so you get to see a little bit more what we're referring to. But yeah, it's super interesting. And another one which I always found interesting is also for when are we actually picking up? Again, kind of a good one to look at the moment, because for most of our properties, we see the next 3 months, 4 months. I don't know. What you guys think that's like typical, the range where we see still cancellations happening, but then afterwards we starting to see some pickup again, and you can kind of see how that is coming over time. And especially for 21, we definitely started seeing more and more. But yeah, so I was thinking, just to actually not just show things, but do some stuff as well. I was thinking we could actually use this, maybe this chart here actually, as a nice anchor point to build a new dashboard to show how that would work.
Yeah, and so that's sort of the cool part here, right? I think I love the visuals and all of that. I suppose one of the things that always comes up is how you sort of, well, there's a lot of properties out in the world and none is similar to the other one. We all have our own sort of preferences for how we want to view data and what is important to me. One property has a huge focus on groups, another one is focusing more on transient. Someone is looking at the next 12 months. Somebody else is more focused on the next 30 days. And that's, from my brief understanding, what we can do with this Explore, where you give me the ability to sort of tailor make it myself.
Exactly. Yeah, absolutely. So let's actually do that. So there's 2 ways how we can do this. We can start from complete scratch and just going into this Explore. But I'm going to do the sneaky way. I'm just going to go in here and actually say Explore from here. So it'll just pick up the chart already with all the components that I used to build it. It'll build it for me, which is nice.
Sounds a bit like the easy way, no? Just saying.
See, now we're back to why did you join? All right, so let's just add the group here as well. This drop-down may sometimes take a little longer to load.
All right, so I'm seeing a lot of things right now. This is where I start filling in on my notepad. What am I looking at?
Yeah, so what we have here is basically, so this is, let's just close this maybe for the moment here. So this is basically all the filters that we created on this dashboard, right? So we left them all blank. That's why they're all blank. So actually, for sake of clarity, let's just remove them for the moment. But we could obviously have filled them out and could have used them. But here when I was saying, okay, cool, I want to look at the pickup period, which is in the last 7 days. I want to look at my group currency and revenue in euro, which, as we're looking at units, is actually not particularly relevant, but we can keep that. And then we want to filter only for nights, which we call reserved night dates, which are after today. So just in case we have obviously the last 7 days, we'd also have bookings for nights which are by now in the past.
Right.
This just allows us to focus on future nights. And then what we have down here is we have a pickup per month. So we basically now saying, great, show me which bookings have been created in the pickup period of the last 7 days for our future months. Right, so we just selected the month here. And then what I can put against this is our pickup. So I can say, great, show me our created units, show me our canceled units, and then show me what our net pickup is, basically. And you can kind of see that here. If you go through the lines, you can see, okay, in this month, like for April, there wasn't really anything created anymore in the last days. For May, we mainly had cancellations here, and which overall, obviously, our net pickup ends up in cancellations. Here we had 10 units that have been created, 61 that have been canceled, so our net is 51. So that all kind of adds up, right? Cool.
Yep.
And that gives us this lovely chart, and here we actually get to see some cancellations as well, which is nice. And now what I can do is I can say, great, this is a really cool analysis. I actually want to save this to a dashboard, and I can stick that into my person folder. You can see I've been playing around with this earlier already. I'm just going to create a pickup dashboard from YouTube session. It's the shortest name I could find.
At least it's not an acronym.
Exactly. And we'll just call this pickup by month. Is that a reasonable one? Volume pickup by month, maybe. Michael, you're always the one that has to kind of accept.
Yeah, I would like to see the fact that it's the 7-day pickup, but I think I'll remember this.
Well, I tell you why I haven't added this, because although it's very cool to have that saying here, it's even cooler if we can actually make that dynamic. So we have a dashboard now. This is basically all you need to do to create a dashboard. As we can see, we have our net pickup per month that is happening. So we can see here mainly a drop. And then what we can do is we can actually create a filter for this dashboard. And what I'm going to call this filter is just going to call that filter pickup period. And it's part of our analytics explorer that we just looked at. That's right here. And by default, I'm just going to say this is always defaults to 7 days. And we want to apply this to the chart that we just added, which is a volume pickup by month. And I'm just going to hit save on this. And there we go. We've just created our first dashboard. Celebrations?
Yeah, we can, but I want more.
All right, well, first is for you guys to see how it works. If I just kind of change this to, I don't know, free, and run this, then this will now get updated, and the colors might stay the same on the distribution, but overall the numbers will probably, well, hopefully change. But it should be working now. But what other chart would you want to have, Michael?
Well, so let's see. We've got, so you got the pickup by month here, and you just created this filter for me, so I can sort of, I can choose if I want to compare it to yesterday, if I want to compare it to 3 days ago, a week ago, so on and so forth.
Exactly.
Well, from my side, if I look at this, for example, I see some red flags for May. So, I sort of touched on it before, but I would definitely want to see where is that coming from. Is there a way where I could just then see, is this from a group segment? Did something happen there? Or did I have a big cancellation elsewhere? Is there a way for me to just quickly research that?
Well, I mean, there's always the way for you to, so there's actually a way to add, I mean, it's a beta, so this is fine. But yeah, we will be adding ways where you can actually drill into the data here. So you could say, oh, what is this what is this big red spike here? Let me click on it and let me drill into this. But that's not set up yet, but that's fine because it's a beta. But also we can just add a different chart that tells us this on the same dashboard. So why don't we do that? Would that be okay for you, Marco?
Yeah. I'll take that.
All right.
Yeah, but that's often the case, right? You sort of you start looking at the bigger picture, and you want to see, all right, how am I doing for the rest of this year, for example? And once you sort of start looking at the year and you look at a graph like that, you're realizing that, all right, that specific month is where I need to put my focus on. And when I put my focus on that, I obviously want to know, all right, number one, what is that segment that is causing all of these cancellations? And probably the next step would be for me to start looking at, all right, I know the segments, but I would also want to see at what days, and potentially is this an ongoing trend that actually been going on for a long time, or is it something that we're just seeing now? Actually, it's been trending positively for most of the time.
Yeah. So I'm not entirely sure if I followed your suggestion here, but I just put something together and then you just let me know if this is what you wanted or not. So
there we go.
What we have now is, so I didn't actually put it on the months. I just noticed maybe you were referring to that, to put it on the months again, just like the other chart. But what I did instead now is I actually chose the last 7 days. And then for the last 7 days, I showed me how many units have been sold per segment. Right. So we're not actually looking forward now. How much do we sell in the last 7 days for the future months? But now we're actually looking at, well, how do we sell every day over the last 7 days? And is there any pattern or any spike? So if, for example, here everything again is quite well distributed with the dynamics, our public business kind of picking up the most. But yeah, obviously here you could immediately see which one is kind of the driving force at the moment. I selected only net unit pickup now because this chart would get very busy otherwise. But you can always obviously go into a table like this. So what we could do as well is we'll keep it in a table format, and we'll add the other two measures, which is our created and our canceled units and our net pickup. And in a table, it might be just a little bit more readable. It's already still quite full, I have to say. But in here, we can kind of see it, right? So we have our dynamic pickup for each of the past days. See how many was created net, how many were actually created, how many were canceled. In this instance, we're back to kind of the pattern from earlier. And yeah, so this could be another way how to display it. But like I said,
by the looks of it, it sort of looks like my dynamics has been slowing down significantly in the last few days, right? At 265, and this is for all future dates, you said, right?
Yeah, exactly. So this is the total we're picking up at the moment for future dates. And yeah, we could obviously go in here again and we could drill down more. So if we say, okay, we have this one spike here on the 24th. We could actually go in here and say, you know what, let's just filter on that particular pickup date. And let's maybe run an analysis now, which doesn't actually split by segment, but we say we just want to look at the dynamic segment. And we now want to look at our channel distribution because something's happening there. Sorry, am I going too quickly?
No. But you're right. It strikes me as a big number. And so now we're no longer, because usually the way, so in the dynamics of this property, I know that sort of includes your direct bookings, online bookings, the OTAs, and perhaps some other segments that are sort of floating or deriving from my base rate. And that's always going to be property specific. But I suppose when you go into a segment, it very often entails, or it's split between a lot of different channels. Yeah, just like you're showing me here. This is normally my OTAs, right? Or my dynamic in this case.
Exactly. So we just because it just popped out and I was just curious for this particular night. So I just filtered on this particular pickup date. The dynamic segment stood out because it was the highest kind of performing day for the dynamic segment in the last week. And now I just kind of filtered on that segment and then pivoted across the different channels. And there we go. And again, if I, for some reason, get to the point that I say, you know what, actually, I want to have this on a daily basis. Maybe I don't care about this particular date every day, but I just care about yesterday. What we can do is we can actually add this to our pickup chart and we can make this dynamic and say, actually always run this for yesterday. And then we can actually remove this because we're just looking at one day anyways. We keep the rest the same. If I run this now, this chart should stay exactly the same, with the only difference that we just chose a different date now. But if we say, great, this is a cool thing, I want to make sure I have this on my pickup dashboard from the YouTube session. Rolls right off the tongue. So we could just say yesterday pickup by dynamic segment. Wait, let's call it yesterday dynamic pickup by channel. You see, like, it's the more data you put together, the more complex the names get.
Hence the acronyms. So okay, exactly. I mean, that's and again, I think this is one of those sort of analytics that, you know, it's very much based on the uniqueness of each property. I suppose key here is that, so let's say that I build a few of more of these tiles, as you call it, right? Every time I go in, then this is going to be saved. Am I right? So like I go in and I check my dashboard, and my own dashboard sort of tells me what I want to look at.
So we obviously have these dashboards here on the left, which are the ones that we provide. If you build any dashboards yourself, like we did now, we actually have this little symbol up here where you can save dashboards and even looks. So looks are just these tiles basically that we add to dashboards. So this is a look I created the other day. But yeah, so you always have access here. So if you log into Pace in the morning and you want to kind of check out your dashboard that you've built, just kind of pick it up from here and it'll load.
And that's really cool. The thing is that everyone doesn't always have access to Pace for one reason or the other. Some shouldn't.
Are you going to ask a leading question, Michael?
No, not at all.
Where are you going with this?
Well, someone gossiped. Yeah, okay, forget about it. Someone gossiped that I don't have to go in necessarily, do I? And
somebody gossiped correctly.
Yeah. The dog is going out, Philip, by the way. I hope you're
she's
aware.
Coming back in. She wants to stay on YouTube.
Yeah, so to answer your very good question, Michael, what you can do as well is you can actually schedule those dashboards. So if for some reason you say, great, this is a dashboard I want to look at every day. I mean, we've now just literally threw some things together. So I'm not sure if that's the most valuable one, but you can absolutely, first of all, you can just send it to somebody. You can also just download the whole thing, either as CSVs or as a PDF, so you can share it easily. But I think the thing that is the coolest is that you can actually schedule this. And the way this works is that you can send this essentially to anybody. So here now, obviously this is tailored to me. So I'm just going to put paceup.com. That means it's now sent to that. This is the person that is logged in at the moment, or admin. So
and that email address is perfect for feedback as well, isn't it?
Oh yeah. Yeah, no, absolutely. Feel free.
Nice one, Michael. Anyone watching, if Michael is not answering fast enough, this is the magic email.
Sure. This is. I feel like I made a huge mistake here. No, it's fine. Let's just continue. God damn it, guys! Get yourself together. We're live. We have a reputation. But yeah, you can choose a format. You can choose PDF, an image file, or CSVs, and then you can say, look, I want to have this every day at 8 a.m. because that's the time I come into the office. I can also do it just on weekdays, so I don't get bothered on the weekend. I can even choose.
I would start by putting it, if I send it to my boss, I would start by putting it at like 5 or 6 a.m. So they, at least for the first few days, they think that I work extremely early.
Wait, then you have to add a text.
That's where we
just woke up.
Over breakfast. Hashtag.
After my morning run.
And that's where the lack of experience is just shining through, Philip. Like I remember my suggestion was that on this was like, okay, I would send it like 30 minutes after I get into the office, because I know as soon as he gets that, he's gonna have questions on why the pickup is so slow on the 28th of July 2021. And if I don't know the answer already, then
ignorance is bliss, Michael.
Yeah.
As you can see, I don't come from the hospitality industry either.
Exactly. Well, glad that we got this all out of the way. But yeah, Michael, to answer your question, you can do that, and you can schedule it. And once I hit save on here, this email is now scheduled, and I will receive this tomorrow at 5 a.m. if I don't delete it before.
Amazing.
Yeah,
we're going on 45 minutes already. Believe it or not.
Thank you, apologies.
I think we should
for bearing with us.
So do you guys think we want to do it again? I mean, we'll obviously ask people who actually had to watch us if it's a good idea, but do you feel like doing it again?
Yeah.
I'd love to take it to the next level, sort of. I think this is really cool to see the fact that you're actually able to build stuff yourself, save it, and keep it for the future is really, really cool. I'd love to have a bigger focus on sort of like, okay, how complex can it actually get?
Well, on that point, Luca, you might hate me, but I think if anyone was brave enough to watch that video until now, the least we could do is ask them to send us suggestions of what they would want to see, and then maybe we can try to throw you a few curveballs. What do you think?
What an excellent idea this is, Philippe. Yeah, no, we can try that. It's a great challenge to have. Obviously, we have the slight caveat: before the first people come, show me rate shopping data. There's no rate shopping data in here yet. But yeah, if you have any kind of any charts that you'd like to see, leave them in the comment section, or I don't know where it actually is. Maybe it's there. I don't know. But yeah, leave us a comment.
Just use Lucas at paceup.com. That everybody has
it. Yeah, but thank you very much for everybody who stuck around. Yeah, leave your suggestions in the comments or send us an email. Generally, let us know if this was helpful, if you'd like to see more, if you'd like to see more detailed stuff. We went very, very basic with the chart building now. We can go very complex into building interesting pivots with custom calculations. So there's really some cool stuff we can do here. We'd love to share with you, but it's always great if we have some inspiration from what is interesting to you. If you're just interested to try this out, make sure to email us. Yes, you have my email address, so you can email me now, and we can add you to our list of beta testers. The beta will run until the end of Q2, so there's another 2 months you could potentially use this lovely product for free. Yes, during beta phase, this is for free. Afterwards, unfortunately, we will have to charge you a price for this. But let's find out together how useful we can make this for you. And yeah, we're really excited about this. I think analytics has been something which was on our mind for a while. We never really put a big focus on it, and now it's really time to make it shine. So thanks everybody for joining. I took the mental note, or / I was just reminded by our lovely colleague who has been bearing with us the whole time in the background. Thank you, Daisy. We will have a look into potentially anonymizing some of the data we're currently seeing in the markets from all of our properties, and maybe share some of that with you, just so you can see kind of the charts I was referring to earlier. I think that might be quite interesting to do a blog post or similar.
Finding some pickup.
Yeah, let me finally stop talking now. So thank you very much, everybody, for joining. Thanks, Philippe and Michael, for bearing with me.
Thank you.
No, you were great. Just as I thought, you're great on camera. I can't wait to watch that video.
See you later, guys.
See you, everybody. Thank you very much. Have a good one.
Ciao.
Bye.